Welcome to the Gift Podcast.
Okay, welcome back to another podcast, everyone. Hello. Oh my god, I'm so tired na do, like super. Please excuse my voice. I'm currently sick, so yeah, ganito talaga yung buhay, no? I'm currently sick. I have a sip on. And I'm very tired actually. Like, I didn't get enough sleep, but whatever, we're gonna do this. But hi everyone, happy Friday. Welcome back to another podcast. And for today's podcast, agad-agad, wala na bang intro chika dyan? Okay, for the intro chika, na I know you guys don't want this, but I'm gonna just tell it. Today is actually August 7. It's the first day of school. I just got back from school. And no, not really just got back, but we finished school. We finished our classes kanina, mga 11. It's currently 4 p.m. na actually. But we ate some lunch. I ate some lunch with my friends. So, yeah. Kanina at school, we really didn't do anything. We just had our general assembly. Ako yung nag-conduct ng Bayang Magilyo. Bayang Magilyo. What? Yung pambansang awit. Like, ganun. Ako yung nag-ganon. But yeah. Anyway, yun. And then, we also had our hi-hello. Hi-hello lang naman. I mean, we didn't really have like a GTKY because we already know each other. Like, hello. Like, parang ilang years na sis. Parang since grade school, same faces pa rin. So, unfortunately, wala po tayong gwapong transfer for this year. So, yeah, so gagraduate po tayong single. Hi, single! But yeah, anyway, sorry if I sound weak. It's really because of my sipon and my tired eyes. They're so tired na, like, and these eyes, oh, diba? Hindi na gumagana yung utak ko. Yung mga softbox dito, it's so hayag, like it's so bright. So yeah. Anyway, for today's podcast, we will be talking about overthinkers. Overthinkers, parang ganun. Hala, shoutout sa mga overthinkers dyan. Sino bang mga overthinkers dito? If you're an overthinker, comment down below. Huy, by the way, we have comments dito sa Spotify. I mean, you won't really see, the comments are not public, but I can see the comments. And also, what do you call that? Like, we also have, I would just love to invite everyone. We also have our private Facebook group now. You can go there and join. I'm gonna leave the link on the description box. You can go there and join the club, join the group, and then we can talk about some things about your life, ganito ganyan. But the thing is, I'm having a hard time approving anonymous post. Like, meron ng mga people na gusto mag-post anonymously and maganda na yung mga post nila. Hindi ko lang ma-approve because parang like, I don't know, what's wrong with Facebook? It always says na something is wrong. We're trying to fix it, blah, 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 ganito, ganyan. So I'm having a hard time about that. So, yeah, bahala na si Batman. But I'm gonna try to fix that later. Oh, that's another stress na naman. So yeah, that's another task for me to do. I'm gonna try to fix that later. But yeah, for now, you can join, of course. Make sure to go check out the description box. You can join there to our Facebook group. I'm not really the master when it comes to Facebook group, so please bear with me if there are some technical difficulties there. So yeah, that's that. Again, okay, going back. We will be talking about overthinkers for today's video. Since I know na madami sa inyo ang overthinkers, well, I technically I really don't know, but I know that some of you guys are students. So, I know that majority of the students are overthinkers. So, hello sa mga overthinkers! Kamusta? Kamusta ang buhay sa mga overthinkers? Okay, let me just talk about my personal experience first with overthinking. Kasi ako, hindi naman na, well, yeah, I am an overthinker, guys. Hello, kababayan. Ako din, overthinker din ako, no? But, it's not really to an extent na parang, masasabi ko talaga na parang nauuna talaga yung utak ko, no? So, yes, I am an overthinker and yeah, magchichika lang tayo, Charles. I'm gonna try to talk about how we can avoid overthinking too much kasi back then, like few months ago, I really was overthinking a lot about things, very small things. And nag-overthink na ako, bakit, parang baka ganito ganyan yung mangyayari, ganun. Like, hindi pa nga nangyayari yung event, inuunahan ko na siya, 'di ba? Baka may mga what ifs, baka ganito yung what if ganito yung mangyayari, ganito ganyan. So, inuunahan ko talaga yung pangyayari. But anyway, so yeah, one thing that I tell myself every time like I catch myself overthinking is that I always just, like parang my mom always tells me kasi na we'll cross the bridge when we get there. Parang if I tell my mom something na what do you call that? Na like, ma, what if pag college, ganito na naman yung mangyayari, hindi naman ako makakapasa, ganito ganyan. What if hindi ako makakagano ng scholarship or ganito ganyan. May mga chika ako sa kanya na inunahan ko yung mga pangyayari. I mean like, like chinichika ko sa kanya yung mga overthinks, yung mga overthinking churvalulu ek ko. So, yung sinasabi niya talaga sa akin is we'll cross the bridge when we get there. So, parang a few months after, she's been saying that to me na we'll cross the bridge when we get there, ganito ganyan, wag mo munang isipin yan, you think about what's happening now first, instead of like thinking what's happening in the future. Oh, by the way, make sure to check out our podcast, Living in the Moment. It's kind of like the same with this one. I mean, not really, but it talks about like how to not really focus on your future, but focus more on what's happening at the moment. So that's why you should live in the moment. So yeah, anyway, there are times na I say to my mom na, what if ganito yung mangyayari pag college? What if ganito ganyan? Yung sinasabi niya talaga sa akin is we'll cross the bridge when we get there. You'll know yung mangyayari if you're there na. So just wait, Like, wag kang mag-overthink kasi, you know what? Well, we all know this actually. We all know this, but the thing is we just disregard this fact. I don't know why. But we all know that with overthinking, we are just like, killing ourselves. We are, what do you call that? Like, parang, tinatakot lang natin yung mga sarili natin with overthinking, Yeah, that's what happens when you overthink. You're basically scaring your own self. So, what I usually do if mag-overthink ako is I think about the moments na, kasi, again and again, this story again, but there was one time na nag-overthink ako. I was invited to play a game. And then, sabi ko, I'm not really, into playing with new members. I mean, with people that I don't know. And then, ganito, ganyan. So, I was really overthinking na, what if left out ako? What if ganito, ganyan? FOMO, fear of missing out. Parang ganun. Like, parang, what if ma-OP ako? Ang dami ko mga what ifs, especially pag lumalabas ako ng bahay with other friends na hindi ko ganun ka-close. May mga iniisip ako na, what if ma-left out ako? What if ma-OP ako? What if ganito, ganyan? What if ma-out of place ako? Diba? Ang dami kong mga what ifs. And then, when I get to that place, when I played the game, I was like, it's not bad pala. Again and again, this story is like repeating na ikatulo na ako na-mention sa akong podcast. I've mentioned this in my podcast like 3 times already. But, yeah, there are times that we overthink a lot, but when we get to that moment, like, parang, okay lang pala, It's not bad. Like, it's good pala, I was just overthinking for nothing. There was also one time na parang, I'm not gonna go into details, but nag-overthink talaga ako na, what if ganito, ganyan. And then I was like telling my friend, and then sabi niya, huy, ikaw talaga nag-overthink ka na naman. Hindi ganun mangyari, ganito, ganyan. She was like telling me to stop overthinking. And then I was really worried na parang, what if ganito talaga yung mangyari? And then when I got to that moment, walang nangyari. Like, nothing happened. Like, nothing bad happened talaga. Like, it was just, it was so far from my overthinking chirvalulu ek. Like, it was just good, walang nangyari. So, my overthinking really just, scared my own self. My overthinker self just scared my own self. So, it's kind of like that. Also, when I overthink, medyo malala talaga ako mag-overthink. Especially back then. But now, hindi naman ako ganun ka like overthinker na. And sometimes yung sinasabi ng friend ko na, uy, ikaw kapag mag-overthink ka, baka ma-jinx mo yan, mangyayari tuloy yan. Yung mga ganun. And then, one time kasi nag-overthink ako na, hala, what if ganito, ganyan yung mangyayari? And then yun, ayun tuloy, nangyari tuloy. So, may mga ganun. Like, basta yun lang yung mga personal stories ko about overthinking. There are also times na, mag-overthink ako about sa mga academic grades. Nga, hala, what if bagsak ako? What if ganito, ganyan? What if hindi tayo papasa sa sa defense? What if ganito? And then, I don't really recommend overthinking so much. Kasi, it's like eating it's like scaring your own self, especially at night. Kasi there are a lot of people na they overthink at night, like they reflect. I mean, reflecting is not overthinking. There are times na, di ba, before you go to sleep, you reflect on your day. So like, ano ba yung nangyari? Did I make mistakes today? Ganito, ganyan. And then there are other people then they are very severely overthinkers talaga, especially late at night, na they think about very random stuff na parang, hoy, saan mo ba naisip? Bakit mo ba naisip yan? Parang, there are a lot of people na parang, iba talaga yung ano bang nangyayari sa isipan mo? Ba't ganun yung thinking mo, diba? Like, parang sometimes if I meet people na very overthinkers, I say na parang, are you in that like opposite perspective? Like, parang ang dark naman ng perspective mo sa things, Kasi, life is not really that, I mean, life is just simple, It's just, I mean, of course, this is kind of like, baka there are other people na like mag-alala naman, no, life is not simple. Of course, we have our different opinions. Pero if you think about it, life is just really simple. I'm not saying that life is easy, of course it's not. But life is simple. Meaning by simple is just like, we're the only ones who's making it complicated kasi. Oh, I'm not gonna talk about that na lang. Baka ma-controversial, ganito, ganyan. But one thing kasi, Yoongi from BTS, I can always it's always Yoongi from BTS. Oh, by the way, I watched his concert. Like, he was crying a lot. Amygdala when he sang the Amygdala, and then Dear My Friend, Otokeji Nenino, and then Snooze. Yeah, he sang those. I think those three, he cried a lot. So I was like, shucks, bro. And then he's going to the military, guys. Like, kanina 1 p.m. lang in-announce he's going to the military. So yeah, anyway, going back, Yoongi kasi said na life is not as hard as you think it is. Kasi we tend to overthink, diba? Again, we tend to overthink things. And then, hindi pa nga nangyayari yung pangyayari. Nai-stress ka na, diba? Like, inuunahan mo yung pangyayari. You overthink a lot na, and then, instead of like, a simple thing, for example, there's a simple thing that you're gonna have to do. Very simple lang ha. Very simple task that you have to do, but you're overthinking it. Like, parang, ano bang gagawin ko? You're overthinking about that simple stuff. And then, so instead of like it being a very simple task to do, it becomes a very hard task for you because you're overthinking. We tend to like overthink and make things complicated. We're the only ones who make things complicated in life, actually. Very simple things that we have to do, we tend to overthink and make it complicated. So, I think, overthinking, it's not really healthy if you do it a lot of times. It's kind of like, well, it's not really, I'm not saying good, but there are advantages when you overthink kasi you tend to see the details, or like, see the details of things. So at least you have like a perspective of the other side, the positive side ba, or the negative side, I don't know with you. But when you overthink kasi, you tend to focus on details, diba? Like, kasi there are people na they look at the big picture, but there are also other people na they look at the details of that picture. Gets mo ba yung point ko? Basta, when you overthink, you tend to look at the details of things. Like, you tend to look at the details of that situation, mga small happenings in that situation. Kasi there are other people who just think na, okay, this is the situation, this is the picture. But there are other people na, oh, this is the picture. Oh, what kind of paint did he use? What kind of technique did he use? Parang ganun. There are people who look at the big picture, like the whole outcome of the picture, and then there are people who look at the picture very close and look at the details. I think, and those people are the overthinkers. That's just from my, I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever. So yeah, it's nice to be. It's not nice to be an overthinker, but it's nice to focus on details. But at the same time, do not scare yourself with your own thoughts, kasi it's your like own thoughts mo lang, and then tinatakot mo lang yung sarili mo, sis. So yeah, and then again, yung masasabi ko lang talaga is when you overthink, parang, yun talaga, that, like, really, that moment talaga, and then, like, nag-overthink talaga ako ng malala, ganito, ganyan. And then, when I got there, I was like, it's not bad, it's not bad pala. It was good. It was a good experience, actually. Like, I wanted to do it again. So, yeah, it was really nice. So, there are times, again, that we overthink, inuunahan natin yung future, inuunahan natin yung, what do you call that? Yung pangyayari, we think about bad things about that pangyayari. We think na baka babagsak tayo, baka ganito, ganyan. But when you get there, actually, maybe it's not bad at all. Kasi, it's a very simple task. Sometimes we have very simple tasks, but we tend to make it complicated because we scare ourselves and then with our own thoughts. So, yeah, and we make simple tasks very difficult. Also, when you're an overthinker, you are very likely to be stressed all the time kasi you worry, diba? Overthinkers worry a lot. They worry a lot. Worry and they imagine about the worst scenarios of things, diba? So they worry a lot. They're like, they're very anxious of things. They imagine the worst case scenario. So you're very prone to being stressed. It's good. I mean, it's not really good, but it's nice to think about the other side of things and think about the details of I mean, gets mo ba yung point ko? Like, at least when you have a scenario in mind, most of the time people will think about the positive side kasi. But when overthinkers come to the picture, they usually think about the worst case scenario. There are people that they think about the positive side, and while overthinkers think about the negative side. It's nice to have a viewpoint of the negative side kasi at least makaandam na ka. You can prepare when you know what's like the worst case scenario for this scenario, instead of like just looking at the positive side of the scenario, and then what if like bad yung outcome ng scenario, so hindi ka na prepared, diba? Kasi you just thought about the positive side. Again, it's nice to have a viewpoint of the negative side, but again, it's not really good to really dwell on that negative side. At least, just like, okay, my perspective ako sa negative side, but focus on the positive side then. Just think about it na, okay, alam ko na ano mangyayari pag, alam ko na anong worst case scenario ng scenario na to, but I'm gonna expect the positive side of this scenario. I'm gonna expect that this scenario will succeed, this project that we're doing will succeed and will achieve our goal, ganito, ganyan. So, yeah, it's nice to prepare. For example, you have a project. It's nice to know na, okay, if this project will fail, we're gonna lose all the hard works that we made. We're gonna lose all our investments, ganito, ganyan. But you should also focus on the positive side. It's nice to know the negative side, but focus on the positive side, which is, of course, when we do this project, we're gonna succeed, we're gonna achieve our goal, ganito, ganyan. So, yeah. And then also, sometimes overthinkers are not very naman, but sometimes they become very indecisive. There are times din na parang since nag-overthink ako, like parang if I were to choose between two things, medyo mag-struggle ako na mag-choose between those two things. Because I overthink na, what if I choose this one and then masasayangan ako sa isang choice, diba? Kasi, diba, for example, there's two choices, A and B. I chose B. What if I pick B, later on, I'm gonna regret it because A was actually the right answer or the easiest answer. Parang ganun, easiest path. Ganun siya. Like, nag-overthink ako na, what if I pick B, mali pala tong path na to. Mali pala to na choice. What if I pick A, mali pala to na choice. B pala yung tama. Parang ganun. So, there are times na parang, nag-struggle ako na mag-decide, ganito, ganyan. But, actually, these days, hindi naman ako, like, nag-struggle na when it comes to deciding. Kasi, I actually, to be honest with you, I don't like indecisive people. Like, it's so long for them to decide. Like, I know you're having a hard time, but please just decide. Like, bro. But, yeah, that's it for today's podcast. I know this was a mess. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry that this podcast is not really the best podcast. But, yeah, that's it for today's podcast. And I hope, shout out to my overthinkers dyan. Don't overthink too much. Like, don't overthink too much. Life is just actually simple. It's not as hard as you think it is. Kasi we're the only ones who scare ourselves na parang, life is so hard. Like, life is so like this, ganito, ganyan. But if you think about it, life is simple. It's not as hard as you think. Well, it's not really. Well, it's not really. It's not really appropriate for me to say that since I'm still young. But that's quote unquote na lang. Quote from Yoongi BTS. So every time I'm having a hard time sa life, I just remember what he said na parang, I don't know, that's the English translation kasi. It kind of sounds different when he say it in Korean, but he kind of said na life is simple, like life is not as hard as you think it is. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe some people will take that, like, will be very like, like very mad at me na parang, oh, gift thinks life is simple, ganito, ganyan, hindi mahirap yung buhay, ganito. I know life is hard, but like, basta, like, like, life is very hard. Yes, it is hard. No, nothing in life is easy, but it's simple. Like, it's life. You have to live it, and you have to survive. I mean, basta, ewan ko na, baka I'm gonna get hate. Basta yun yung sinabi ni Yoongi, kasi that was a time na I think someone was like overthinking about stuff. So, he said na 삶은 그렇게, I'm just gonna say in Korean, but he said na 삶은 그렇게 어렵지가 않아요. 생각보다 어렵지가 않아요. 뭔가 약간 he said something like that. So, yeah, sorry for my bad pronunciation. I'm gonna try to practice my Korean often. But yeah, anyway, sometimes in life we tend to make simple tasks very hard because we overthink a lot. So I think we should all lessen maybe the overthinking. It's nice to have the different perspective of things. Since again, if you're an overthinker, you tend to have a different perspective. Some people will only focus on the positive side of the scenario, and usually overthinkers will focus on the negative side. But it's not nice to always focus on the negative side. It's nice to know na what's gonna happen sa negative side, but try to focus on the positive side. And yeah, don't overthink too much kasi it's a yes or no. Sometimes in life you just have to step back and see things as a yes or no. Like, madami tayong what ifs, diba? So sometimes you just have to step back and see things black and white. Kasi there are a lot of times we see things na not in black and white, There are times that we have to see things in black and white then, Parang if you're indecisive of a choice that you have to make, sometimes you have to step back and see things black and white, and then it's a yes or no actually. So don't overthink too much kasi you're just gonna scare yourself and this and that. So this is one advice that I always tell other people na, kasi I learned this somewhere, I don't know, I forgot where, but if there's this one person that I know kasi na she was having a hard time deciding, and then actually she knew the answer. Like, she knew the answer to her, like, question, to her dilemma or whatever, but she just had a lot of what ifs, and a lot of overthinking stuff. So I told her na, you're overthinking too much, so what you do is you should step back and think, logically, and then rational thinking, and then you just see things in black and white. It's a yes or no. So yeah, when you're kind of like overthinking too much and then you have to decide, you just have to step back, see things in black and white, and then it's a yes or no. You list down the advantages, disadvantages of this choice, and then do the same things the other choice, and then you'll have your answer, So it's simple as that. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for today's podcast, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and see you guys next Friday. Bye!